Welcome to Geeks 4x4, home of the Bobbed Excursion, and today we are going to build a custom crossmember for holding the transmission up and transfer case and stuff like that on the Bobbed Excursion. If you didn't catch the last video, I finally straightened the frame after bending it in April in Moab, and now we're going to start building the belly pans and all of that stuff. So the start of that is the crossmember. Let's get started on that right now. There is our setup today. Got the big sheet of 3/16 out. I've got this bar already cut out. This is going to be my new cross member. So it's going to have, you can see the line over there. You can see the line over here. It's going to be kind of, like that. 2 bolts on either side into the frame. And then a gusset between the bolts, probably capping this case right here. And then the transmission mount is going to be on an L bracket type thing with gussets on this side. This is going to have a skid plate behind it, go to another bar for the transfer case, and then a skid plate in front of it that's going to mount to it somehow and go between the 2 suspension mounts. So that's what I started with next. I know I fixed the frame. I'm going to box the frame still, and I got to start tearing all that stuff apart. And the stock crossmember is super big, and so if I want to work underneath there and have the transmission supported, it'd be nice to have the the thing just like staying up out of the way where I could actually get into it. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to turn some music on, and you can't hear that. And so I'm going to just do stuff and just work, and I will try and film stuff and do some time-lapse things, and yeah, we're going to keep going on this massive project that I have undertook. Wow, way too big. All right, so I did all these really cool, changed the camera around, really paid attention, did all these long time frames, and yeah, you'll see in just a minute, I didn't end up using this crossmember, so I am going to spare you guys watching this entire thing, and we're going to kind of jump ahead to when I test fit it and then tell you what happened and what I learned. So let's go. Hey, tell me in the comments, do you work better with music on? I feel like I work so much better in the garage with music running, even if I can't hear it, because I haven't been able to hear it at all because I've been grinding. But when you stop grinding, you're like, grooving out, hanging out. But yeah, I don't know. When it's quiet, it's like this. Isn't that just sad? I don't know. Do you like quiet or do you like music? You tell me in the comments. All right, now prepping under here to be able to do the crossmember. And as you can tell, factory exhaust, the way it comes out, actually is below the frame rail. And that is not going to work anymore. I had hoped when the guy did the exhaust, and I asked him about it, that he would attach it up there. And it would be up high and I wouldn't have to do this. But instead, I paid him, and he put it here. And so now I've got to redo it. So I got to get it to where I can lay this bar right here with no interjections. It's going to go right up between the shift motor and across, and then we're going to do a little bracket on there. So I'm going to cut this thing right here. I'm probably going to pull this whole thing out, and these bolts are just destroyed. So I'm going to get probably a new flange and then start from up here and connect to this nice new pipe I've got here. So I don't know, I really need to do the whole thing, but I can't really afford that right now. I would like to get rid of that ram thing and all the deal, but for now, this is it's gonna have to work. And yeah, then once this is all apart, we can look up in here and box this frame really easily. I'm gonna remove this heat shield, and then we'll have clear access without the exhaust in the way to box the frame. So I got some work to do. All right, well, here is all the stuff that I took out to give myself some room. Getting set up to box the frame and everything. Look at all the room that's in there without that big exhaust in the back. Also took out the front here off the headers because I wanted to be able to get that heat shield out so that I could box the frame. That's in a future video. But here's the first mock-up of the bar I ended up not using. I just kind of wanted to show you guys what it looked like in there. And now I'm going to tell you why I ended up not using it. All right, well, learn with me here.
So I put this up in there, and I should have put it up in there before I cut it. It fit way better than I thought, and I actually had room for this 3x3. And since I had 3x3 sitting around, that's the exact same 180 wall instead of 2x3. I shouldn't have cut this. Those cool cuts, shouldn't have done that, because I'm going to do it on this, because this thing fits up in there, and I would rather have more strength, because, you know, it's an excursion. It's not light. So when it comes down on this, and the skid plates are attached to all this, this is the backbone of what I'm building for skid plates. So I'm going to make this thing ridiculously strong. We're going to cut this. I might just do the biggest cut my saw down there can do on the edges instead of doing these. So it just matches itself. And then I, drew up where the mount was and everything down in there. So I got to transfer a bunch of things across. This also gives me a little bit more room to stagger the bolts in the frame. There's the bottom lip of the frame is decent size. So instead of having to run them straight like this. So anyway, do things twice garage. All right, well, that's annoying. Look at this. This thing cut like completely across. Not even close. Good old Harbor Freight saw. All right, well, trying to make that easy on myself. That's not going to work, so I'm going to have to do this with the old grinder. All right, so I got to go work with the grinder and make those things look a little bit better. Do you have any suggestions for another good steel saw that doesn't break the bank? I would love to hear them in the comments. What are you using? What blades? Let me know. But yeah, just working away here, cleaning everything up, and getting ready to do the next part. And the next part is cutting out everything so I cut there, and I cut there, and I cut there, and I made this. This is my transmission mount plate that's going to be welded to the side and braced in. Alrighty, well, the audio's going to suck on this, but bring it back in. Built this plate now for the transmission mount, and I drilled 2 holes. We're going to elongate them. Just did it over here. And so I can slide the transmission cross member back and forth just a little bit. The factory one, super similar. That's how that goes. Just gives you a little bit of movement to get, where exactly I want it. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. And, get this thing tacked up and test fit it. So I ended up using a grinding stone on my air grinder to grind out after I drilled bolt holes in the drill press. And that worked really well, actually. I've never done that. I've seen it done. So I just wanted to try it, see if it worked. And it did. Couldn't get this 3/16 steel just eats the stone grinding wheels. But I don't know, it worked. And then we went to getting it on there, making sure I got it in the spot exactly where I wanted it. I measured it about, 8 times. And now let's go put it underneath there and test it out. So I did drill the outer holes that went into the factory rear crossmember holes. And so that was just an easy one to drill and get set up. So I set it in there, and this is a lot of staring and looking and checking clearances and doing things like that. This is the kind of stuff that takes time, but you got to do it. And then popped it back out of there to finish weld it up. All right, so the first test fit went really well. I'm ready to weld this thing up. I think I'm going to add this piece right here just to have one more piece right in the middle on the bottom here. It's from that one I cut out, so it's a little bit crooked, but whatever. I'll cut the top flush when I'm done welding, and then I made sure that it fit plenty of room on either side for the bolt. Tack that in place, weld these guys up, and this thing is not going to go anywhere. Should be pretty sweet. So I've left some of these tails. I'm going to finish all this off when I get done. And this is the bottom of it you're looking at, so this will be a little bit here. and then the, yeah, this thing's sweet. Need to add one more hole over here on both sides, and then drill a hole in the frame. So we've got 2 bolts on either side, and this thing is going to be stout. I really, really like the way it looks. Alrighty, now it is time to finish weld this sucker and get it done. Yeah, I like the way this came out. If you've got any other things you think I should add to it or do, please let me know in the comments. I'm always open to suggestions. But yeah, I've been getting better at welding, I feel like. Taking my time and trying to get this stuff to really lay in there. And I think I got some pretty nice welds. I'll show you guys some close-ups here in just a second. What do you think here? Some of it still looks like crap. But welding with, I forget, the 030 wire and big gas now. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty decent. So yeah, then I just ground it down. I wanted to ground some of these edges that were sticking over. I just kind of tacked them together. And this is what I ended up with. I am really excited about the result. Like I said, I would love to hear if you really got some great ideas for me. I'd love to hear them. But the result, I've never done this before, and I think it looks pretty nice. Maybe I'm just happy I did it. All right, well, here it is, folks. There is a 3x3, 3/16 wall or 180 wall, square tube cross member transmission mount, and that is the start of the belly pan and belly skid plates for the Bobbed Excursion. I'm really happy with how this thing came out. I gained like 1.5 inches, 2 inches because of the drive shaft and the exhaust little loops that they were in the original one. You can see it over there. And now I've got it set up to where I can run skid plates forward and backwards off of this. I just got to figure out if I want to weld them to it or build brackets or something. I don't really know at all what I'm going to be doing, but this is done. 2 bolts on each side. Sweet transmission mount, and then I just like 45 to each side like that. And I had the random thought at the end of this, is this gonna make noise? I don't know, comment below. Is this thing gonna grab wind and make noise like a bottle does, have air blowing through it? Am I gonna need to cap these? We'll see. So anyway, there's an up close look, and here is what it looks like now from the side. So the front skid plate will have a brace between these two, and then there's that, and then the rear skid plate will have another bar. It's gonna be like 1.5 inches, so it doesn't need to be that much for that one. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Pretty sweet looking. Alrighty, folks. Well, I'm dirty and I'm tired, and that was a long day's worth of work, and I've got a lot more work to do underneath there. I've been talking to people about some ideas on boxing the frame. I'm also just kind of thinking about putting a pole in as a single spot right over the point that bent on the one side. There's just a lot of reasons for that. The way the PMF stuff mounts, I have to be able to get to the back of the inside of the frame, and all the fuel lines and stuff on the driver's side, I have to be able to get to all that, and I would have to rework all of that, which is not out of the question, but feels like for right now, if I just put a pole in and then I put the cross beam on, then that thing is going to be so much stronger than it was when I first put it in, along with all these skid plates and everything underneath. But anyway, that is for future videos. That is going to be it for this video. This is just a cross member. We've got lots of 3/16 steel still, and we've got lots of other things to build, and we will be going through this next couple weeks and hopefully getting this thing done and maybe ready to go to Trail Hero. If you're coming to Trail Hero, comment down below. If you've got any advice for this, comment down below. Would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We've been growing. Hey, we just hit 5,000 followers. I was thinking to myself, what did I have to tell you guys? We just hit 5K. That is amazing. I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm going to figure out how to do a giveaway. And I've got some
excursion parts, leveling shackles, and worn hubs, and well, no, mile marker hubs, and like some good stuff. So be looking out for that. Super excited for 5K. Thank you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. And we will see you guys on the next one.